Is your life filled with too much stress? Just can't seem to get things done? You need to take a break and relax. Our next speaker will show you how.
Building spirituality, family, health, and business. This is the Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.
Good afternoon, Giant Builders. I'm so glad that you are here because we're going to talk about stress. So, today's guest is Denise Eckert. Hi, Denise. How are you?
Hi there. Thank you for having me.
Oh, great. Well, I'm so happy that you're here. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, my name is Denise Eckert, and in the past, I was in corporate, and I was one of these people who was an overachiever, and I would go from overachieving to burnout, from overachieving to burnout. And then I wanted to do something about it because there was not a lot of help out there. So I did go into coaching a little bit, but it really wasn't something for me because it was a lot of times if I was coaching someone, I would bring their tragedies home with me and I'd think about it and it would stress me out as well. So I got into the relaxation practices and I fell in love with them. So I became an EFT practitioner. I love doing just little things like gratitude practice, breathing practices. I became a hypnotherapist. And now I've put together a list of practices that, if you're feeling stressed, it's someplace you can go and do a practice and you just feel better. So I love that work because it doesn't take a lot, but if you take your 10 minutes or 15 minutes out, it makes a difference in your life.
What is stress?
Stress is when we are at a point whether, we've got too much on our plate and we're basically living in that freeze, flight, or fight mode. And it's just like when you are in a car and someone almost cuts you off or you almost get into an accident and you feel that tension, and that's stress. So if we live like that, our bodies tend to break down because we're in that, I don't know, it's just that tension that we live in. And we really don't need to live like that. That's the thing.
Okay. Well, what can we do to reduce stress?
Well, I've got usually 5 different points if you want me to go through them.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Number 1 is just do an inventory of what you're doing. Do an inventory of where you are spending your time and energy. And then, if you even just write it down for a couple days, and then after a few days, step 2 is delete things that do not bring you ahead or things that don't resonate with you anymore, delete them. Or you can delegate them. Maybe you're not the best person to do it. If someone else is in the household is going to the store, both people don't need to be going to the store, just simple things like that. Or just to group things. I do a lot of grouping. So if I'm out and about, I have a list of things I'm going to do and I do them all in a chunk. Step 3 is chunk things down. If you've got a big project, put it into little bite-sized pieces so that you don't feel that overwhelmed. And not only that, once you get a little chunk done, you feel you've accomplished something. And then step 4 is that when you are doing that, or not really step 4, but 3.5, take a break, reward yourself, whether you go for a walk or whether you do meditation or do something else, give yourself that little award. And what it does too, and I love doing it, like even for myself, I know this is a podcast, but when I have a project, I just make a little list, little pieces, and you're not overwhelming yourself. And that is the biggest thing with stress is when you overwhelm, you've got too many things on the go, you're not focused, and you're just, and number 4 is do a morning routine. Because when you get out of bed and you start your day, if you jump into the stress right away, it sets the tone for your day. And it doesn't have to be long. You can sit in quiet for 10 minutes, just meditate. You can read something. You can dance to your favorite song, whatever you want to do. And the biggest step for stress is just stop, because if you're stressed out, you start making mistakes, you start getting frustrated, you start snapping people's heads off, and it just goes down from there. So 5 easy steps, really.
They sound easy, but they're not really easy. You know what I mean? So they sound easy, but to get ourselves to do it just may not be. Like, okay, confession. So I know since 2020, people have been doing like the grocery drop-offs and all that. But I just had this block that wouldn't let me do that. And I realized that, if I go onto the Myers website and just pick out my things, it really saved me a lot of time. And I am not a shopper. I really don't like going shopping, but I get frustrated because I don't know where some of the things are. I forget where the the homemade breadcrumbs are or whatever. I just forget where they are. So I found that it was so cool to like drive up and just tell them I'm in slot 1, and they came in and they put it in my car, and it was like, oh, that's just a stress point for me. And I think, like you said, realizing what your stress points are, and we have so much technology and everything to help relieve those things. So I am so with you on all of those.
Yeah,
So,
and there's a lot of little things. Like I love grocery shopping, but I don't like clothes shopping.
oh,
For
okay.
me, I will
I
order
don't like
things
shopping
in.
of anything.
I don't know. I like food shopping because it's like, okay, what am I going to make? And
Mhm.
I get into it, but clothes shopping stresses me out. So I order my stuff online and
Yeah.
get a whole bag. I try things on, I send stuff back, and it's not stressful.
Yeah, because if you go shopping, yeah, I never find something that like I find the skirt that I like, but I can't find the top to go with it. And it's just, and then I don't like when my husband goes shopping with me because he likes to look around, and I just want to go in and get my list and get out.
I guess the idea too is becoming aware when you are starting to feel that stress,
Mm.
doing something about it, because if you know that this stresses you out and you come up with a different solution, how do you feel? You can spend that time and energy doing something else.
So what's something, because when I'm stressed, I really have a hard time thinking of things. So what is something that I can do when I'm feeling stressed?
You can do something so simple like a gratitude practice,
Mm.
just sit down for a couple minutes and write down 10 things you're grateful for. And they can be simple, like, I'm grateful for clean water. I'm grateful for food in my fridge, my warm, cozy bed that I sleep in, my family, my business, internet online, my computer. And just taking that time out and thinking about things you're grateful for turns things around. Or you can do, simple breathing exercises.
Mhm.
Just count in for 5, breathe out for 5. And what the trick there is that you're counting. So you're not thinking about, oh, my email, or I forgot to do this, or I forgot to do that. You're actually distracting your brain. And then EFT, which is really simple too. And I do have a lot of videos on that, where I love EFT because it's emotional freedom technique. So what you're doing is you're acknowledging things. So whether you're feeling stressed about your car repair, or stressed about the bills, or stressed about holiday shopping, or whatever you're stressed about, you acknowledge it. But then you release it and you almost like swish it off your body. And the turnaround on that is just amazing. Like usually what I do is you look at when you start the EFT session, how stressed do you feel? And a lot of times it's 7, 8. And once you're finished it, it's like 2, 3, so it's just different things work for different people. And not only that, different things work for different people at different times as well. Like there's some mornings where I get up and I'm not the greatest person for meditation because I have such a busy brain. So sometimes it just doesn't work for me. Like even if I'm saying things out loud, I'm still thinking about, oh, this problem or that problem. So I need something a little more vigorous, a little more active.
Mhm.
So really it's trying to find what works for you and finding different things so that, you have that little directory is what I've created, that little directory of different things, whether you've got a playlist on YouTube, just something easy to go to so that when you are feeling like that, you've got that toolbox for yourself.
That's great. What happens if we live with stress too long?
Well, at the beginning, I have a podcast as well. And when I started my podcast, I interviewed a lot of different people that experienced burnout. And it was horrible. Like some of the ailments that these people contracted from just living in stress were extreme. I mean, it was from liver failure to organ failure to like complete body shutdown. And you know what? If you are listening to this and you are hitting burnout, please be aware that this can actually shut your whole system down. And you're ignoring it now, but when you're in the hospital or really, really sick, you can't ignore it anymore. So it's something that you really need to start taking care of because it's dangerous.
Oh, that is scary. Mm.
Like, believe me, some of the ailments that these people got was like, what? Like, I've never even heard of these things before. But yeah, if you're always living in that tension, just say like that car accident feeling, and you're always that tense, your body is not functioning properly. You look very relaxed.
Well, thanks. I'm not at the grocery store.
Yeah.
I do find talking to different guests to be very relaxing because I think I'm learning things and I really enjoy learning. So I think that's a very relaxing time for me.
And it's nice now that we are so global. And, like, for instance, I'm in Canada, you're in the US. It's so nice to connect with different people and find out about each other, right?
Yeah, that is true. Very true. You have the app, the Relaxation Lounge. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I'd love to. So what it is, it's a directory, and I've done it in different categories. So for instance, if you are very stressed at the moment, there are different techniques you can use right at the moment just to lower your stress right now. And I've designed it with busy women in mind because we are busy. We don't have an hour to sit there and do something. So even on the directory, the practice could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And there's a completely different variety. If you fall in love with one practice, you can put it into your saved file. And what I've done as well, because this really, I'm sorry to say, pisses me off with YouTube, but when you're going to do a practice, what really bothers me is the blah, blah, blah. If I want to go do meditation, I don't want the person all of a sudden halfway through explaining something or doing something. I want to just do the session. So with my app, I've got the introduction as a section, and then I just have the session. So you will not have any blah, blah, blahs. There's no advertising. There's no introduction. It's straight to the point. I'm very straight to the point type person.
Thus, probably less stress.
Well, it is. You know what? Especially when we're stressed, we don't want to listen to blah, blah, blah. We want to do what we want to do. And so, yeah, the app is designed for that. And it's got things for morning routines. It's got things you can do on a break. And yeah, and then there's a whole variety of different wonderful practices. And it's not me doing all the practices. I've created a list of different practitioners globally. So if you don't like one practitioner, or you don't resonate with one person, you might resonate with someone else. And the global reach I've had with these practitioners is pretty amazing.
Oh, it sounds like a lot of options available.
Yes. And I'm trying to like put a little rein on that too, because I don't want to overwhelm people either. So,
well, any closing thoughts?
Well, when your body is telling you you're stressed, do something. And you know what? Even if you're working on the computer and you're starting to get frustrated, you're starting to get stressed, change it up. Get up and even do the dishes, or get up and do laundry or vacuum, or just do something different and give your brain a rest, and just switch it up is one of the easiest things we can do.
Oh, that sounds like great advice. Well, Denise, I thank you so much for all your information. We'll make sure that the link to your app is down below, and I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing what some of the techniques that you have in there.
Oh, they're awesome.
Oh, great. All right, Giant Builders, get the app and go get relaxed. See you next time.
Thank you for listening. This has been The Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.